Hello and welcome to our Souren with Souren series. Today we're going to take a deeper dive into the mortgage banking industry to see how Nexval, the mortgage technology gurus, can help you and your company. Welcome, Souren.
Hello, thank you.
Nexval is known for its expertise in mortgage banking. What makes customers keep coming back year after year for Nexval's help?
Well, primarily it's our depth of expertise driven by experienced professionals who have been in the industry. We are mortgage bankers working for other mortgage bankers, and we are a natural extension of their internal capabilities at an outsourced location. So all of our employees have average of 15 plus years of experience in US mortgage banking, and we're specialized in this, unlike our other competitors who are in different other industries. So we really bring that unique mix of technology, of skill sets that let our competitors in the dust, basically.
And would you consider that to be your value proposition, the length of experience, the depth, the tenure of staff? And tell us a little bit more about the core systems such as MSP.
Right. I would add to that the quality and of the execution that we provide, because these are very business critical functions that we are performing for our customers, and the quality has to be top notch. And we have various quality programs in-house to do that. You also mentioned the compliance that we bring to the fore. There's a lot of areas of compliance that we look at and go in depth. We have an internal and external compliance committee that looks at all the procedures going on in the industry. On the technology side, you mentioned MSP. MSP is one of the many systems that we use. MSP is a loan servicing system. We are very familiar with MSP, as well as a number of other systems such as Encompass on the origination side, RamQuest and others on the title side. So any known industry systems are part of our knowledge base and something that we worked on before. And the knowledge of the system is critical to these tasks because these are all driven by computer systems that must flow in seamlessly between our customers and ourselves. So all our staff are trained in these industry systems. In some cases, we have built-in partnerships with these systems and technology providers and get training directly from them. So that really provides a very holistic approach to the solution rather than just throwing people at a problem.
So let's talk a little bit about the mortgage banking value chain that Nexval offers.
Yes, Nexval is involved across the mortgage banking value chain. So the three primary areas are origination, servicing, and title and related services. So we have essentially a range of services that are across all of these three areas. Let's start with origination. In origination, we can start all the way from the initial contact made with the borrower and the 1003 that is received all the way up to a closing or a post-closing process. In between, you can throw in loan processing, underwriting, scanning of docs, reviewing of documents, etc. The parts that we currently do not perform, that clients prefer to perform in-house, are some of the treasury and accounting functions, although we can also provide enhancement in those areas. If you look at servicing, again, it's a service that starts from the very beginning parts of servicing, which is the initial loan board. If it's an origination process and the loan was acquired by the origination arm of the company, then we can seamlessly transfer the loan from the origination system into the servicing system, such as MSP. If it is an acquisition of a loan, then we can take the incoming loan file and then board that into the system. So that is the starting point. After this initial loan boarding, there might be a setup process of the loan, and then we start off with continuing into other areas of loan boarding and setup that are required to get the loan operating and performing in the servicing system. Now, as the servicing process is going on, then there are a number of activities we perform across the value chain. Things such as escrow processing, looking at default processes. Default processing is a huge part of that. We are also looking at the tail end of the processes, such as payoff processing, and as well as transfer of servicing loans to other customers, other servicing customers in case of internal servicing transfers. On the title side of the business, there's origination title and servicing title. On the origination title side of it, we work directly with title companies and title agencies to help perform title searches, title commitments, online searches in title plans and enhancing of title documents. On the servicing side of the title, which is also a big business for us, we are performing things such as assignments, lien releases, uninsured title searches for default scenarios such as RUN, foreclosure, etc. We also look at the secondary side of the industry, and over there, if there is being secondary loan transfers, we perform a number of services that could do data cleansing of secondary files, sending this data on to the parties of the transaction, and looking at the overall secondary market transaction and coordinating it for our customers. So I think Nexval is unique amongst the peers in the industry that we have a really soup to nuts service from across various areas, and we can fill in wherever the customer has an imminent need and across the value chain. So yes, you're right in saying that we do have a great impact on the value chain because we are not focusing on just individual activities, and our over 25 years of experience allow us to really fill in wherever help is needed by the customer.
That gives us a much more a deeper understanding of your process and why the value is there. The pioneers of business process outsourcing, where do you see the industry? What are your ideas of where the industry is heading now?
Yes, business process outsourcing did exist, but as far as mortgage business process outsourcing is concerned, we were one of the few firms that pioneered in this industry over 20 plus years back. And at that time, the industry was at its infancy. And what spurred on the growth of this business was really the growth of the fast communication infrastructure through the internet. We did not have these kinds of data speeds we have today at the time, but now with the speed of the internet and the reduction in price of communications, all of the activities that were considered hard to perform have become very easy. We can seamlessly work on the same system that we're working stateside as in our offshore operations. We can communicate and pick up the phone and have conference calls over several hours and not even flinch. And we can have video calls, we have Zoom calls, all of these things are there. So this transition to a globally distributed workforce where location is not important has been a critical factor. The other critical factor is now as we are still fighting with this COVID virus, that has caused the entire industry to gravitate towards remote working, and it has become normalized. What we used to think of was not normal in terms of working at different locations and everyone had to come to an office. It's been normalized globally. What has been further normalized is remote work from home, which in our industry, since we're in a very compliant industry, was looked down upon. But now, with the onset of COVID, we have been able to actually send workers home and ensure the same level of security and compliance that you would have inside of an office environment. So I think that's a great progress and step forward. What that allows us to do is not just have people working from home or have a flexible workforce or have them log in case of a crisis, but we can also now distribute out and look globally for talent wherever it exists. Even if we do not have a large office in, say, a city where an expert at a particular service exists, we can actually have them work out of there and make it seamlessly work together. So these are some of the advances that have allowed us primarily to blend in with the client in a very seamless way and be part of their entire ecosystem.
It seems that you were positioned you were already going in the right manner in order to live in this accelerated future is what I call it. This shift that happens so quickly. You can imagine like the retail store that thought about selling their clothing online and they never got it together, and suddenly we had COVID. And so this was really kind of closing the gap on the companies that were really prepared for something like this. What is your experience with work automation?
Well, workflow automation was a core of what we did, but now it has been enhanced to the next level, because once you don't have people sitting next to each other, you really can't have those over the desk kind of conversations. Further when they're at their home environments, etc. You have to really distribute out the work and break it down to its constituent pieces so that everybody's function in the entire process is well understood. And it has to be centrally coordinated though, so that the end delivery is not affected. Ultimately, we are still getting a seamless delivery of the product or service that we are looking at. So workflow automation software is at the core of everything we do at Nextval. We have our own in-house workflow automation software called NextDeck that we utilize to coordinate all of our resources and coordinate the time spent on each task, coordinate the quality standards, the SLA metrics are all captured over here. And it's also an app and information that you can find on your mobile device at any point. So being connected at every point of time on what is happening and looking at the workflow from a 60,000 foot level, as well being able to drill down to that very bottom floor and seeing what is happening at a processor level is super important in the current environment, and continue to define outsourcing as business process outsourcing as we go forward. The other aspect of this is now we are very focused in automating certain activities. We were very a people-centric organization 20 years back when we started. But now with the advances in automation technologies, we are seeing that increasingly we can automate certain parts of the process that were previously considered humans could only perform. And now we can see with the new technologies in AI, in natural language processing, in robotic process automation, we can take certain processes and automate them.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Souren, for all of your insight. And we thank you for joining us for our Souren with Souren series. And stay tuned.